I obviously don't usually start my videos like this, and if it were up to me, I wouldn't start this video like this, but my attorneys have advised me to read the following statement before the body of the video. The video you are about to watch contains a brief scene of graphic violence that some viewers may find disturbing. The material presented is intended for educational or entertainment purposes only and does not constitute professional advice or guidance. By choosing to watch this content, you acknowledge and accept that you are doing so at your own risk, and the creator shall not be held liable for any adverse reactions or consequences resulting from the viewing experience. If you are sensitive to graphic content or have concerns about its potential impact on you, please refrain from watching. Thank you for your understanding. You probably wouldn't believe how many people come up to me on a daily basis and say, "Oh, and I'm so thirsty all the time. I'm constantly thirsty, but I don't know what the solution is. Can you teach me to cure the thirst?" And I say, "Well, how are you alive?" And yes, of course I can. Of course I can. It's as simple as something called drinking. And guys, I will teach you today how to drink. Drinking, quite simply, refers to the consumption of a liquid. It's basically the liquid version of eating or breathing. But fair warning, just because something is a liquid does not mean that you can drink it. That is why I must now discuss the concept of potability, or, if pronounced correctly, potability. In general, try to avoid any murky liquids. Anything that you can't see through or that has visible sediment should probably be avoided. Also, be sure to take note of the liquid's viscosity or thickness. Highly viscous liquids are difficult to drink, and many of them, such as oil or shampoo, are plainly unsafe. Potable liquids are either odorless or have a mild, pleasant scent. If a liquid has a very strong foul odor, there's a good chance you can't drink it. Always take note of a liquid's packaging. You're going to want to avoid anything with any warning labels or anything that might say something along the lines of "caution, not for human consumption." All right, guys, it's finally time to get down to brass tacks and start drinking. Before you start drinking, you really do want to take note of what container the liquid or beverage you want to drink is in. Unfortunately, we don't live in a fair world, so you can't drink out of sealed containers. So you're also going to have to know how to open said container, whatever container your beverage may be in. So I think we'll start with just kind of an overview of the types of containers. We have here on the left the simplest of the containers, the cup and the glass. As you can see, the cup and glass all come in a variety of sizes and shapes. Most notably, you'll see that they have an open top. You can see the liquid directly in there, right in the cup and right in the glass. So these, luckily for us, do not require any additional action in terms of opening. So they're already open, we're good to go there. It starts getting a little bit more complex though as we move to the right and you see the bottles. Oops, not sure how that got there. We look at the bottles here. We have a variety of bottles, and we have the squeeze bottle, which is the simplest of the bottles. We have the regular traditional bottle. We also have the glass bottle. All of these kind of share the same characteristics. They have a body, and then on top they have a cap. And these two, the cap happens to be orange, easy to identify. Here the cap is gold. But body, cap, this one has a neck as well, in addition to having the cap on top. So, but yeah, body, neck, cap. To open these, well, this one we don't need to open. This is a squeeze bottle, so how do you think you open it? Yes, you squeeze it. If you squeeze it vigorously enough, eventually a liquid will shoot out the top like that. Also quickly, just going backwards, cups, just a heads up, you might see if you're at a restaurant, they might give you something called a straw. I wouldn't use it. I think it just makes things more complex and it's a little too phallic, but if you want to use a straw, feel free to do so. You just have to suck through it, but I'm muddying the waters here, pun intended. Here is the traditional bottle. This is a fat one. This is a Gatorade. You're going to want to open it. You're going to identify the cap. Right, we already said it's orange. You're going to take your two fingers. You're going to grab it, still holding it with your left hand, and you're going to turn that son of a gun counterclockwise until it pops right off. And then you'll see that there are grooves on the inside of the cap and on the outside of the top of the bottle. And you can actually reclose this. So if you put the cap back on and turn clockwise now, it'll actually seal, and then you'll get to a point where you can't turn it anymore, and look at that. But then we have this. We have the glass bottle. Glass bottles are actually made out of glass. You're gonna wanna be careful with them. They're a little fragile. But this cap doesn't twist off. So, I mean, are we out of luck? No. That's why we have these. These are called bottle openers. And we can use these bottle openers to open the bottle. Variety, obviously, of bottle openers, sizes and shapes, excuse me. Same basic idea though. They have some sort of metal that you want to get under the cap if you can, right there. And once you have it positioned, you're just going to want to pull up towards you and it'll actually pop right off. Same thing, this piece of metal, you want to get it under the cap. You start feeling resistance and you can pull back, and you can eventually pull back and open it. Right here, you're going to get that under the cap. And this one will actually do, I'm going to pull, I'm going to lift up. And look at this, guys. Boom, just like that, it pops right off. Now, unlike the traditional bottle, we're not gonna be able to reseal this one, so you gotta be really convinced that you are gonna drink this when you decide to open it. And then finally, the most complex of all containers, the granddaddy of them all, is the aluminum can. The aluminum can is a can that is made out of aluminum. It's got a top as well as a body. You know, on the top, and this is the key to opening it, you'll see that there's something called a tab. And on a tab, if you can look really closely, you see there's some etching, a hole that you can punch out. You can punch that out with a tab by taking your thumb, applying pressure to the bottom here, and getting your index finger under the top of the tab. And then once your index finger is under the top of the tab, you can start to pull back slowly. You hear that sound. Those are just gases being released. This is a carbonated beverage. Pull back, pull back, pull back until you can't. Oh, you pop right through, and then you go all the way down. All the way down, and then all the way back. And just like that, you have an open can. All right, guys, so these next steps are gonna be identical regardless of container. So I'm gonna show you slowly with the glass, just because it's clear, you can see the liquids, you can see the fluid dynamics of what's going on there. Get a metaphorical peek under the hood, if you will. And then I'll go through each of the other containers and just quickly show you how to drink it. So it's open. Let's say we got it open. We're gonna reach for it. We're gonna grab it. We're gonna grab it with our dominant hand. In my case, it's my right hand. We're gonna hold it like we would hold like a baby bird if we picked one up, like firm enough to make sure we maintain control, but also loose enough so that we don't suffocate it. Right? We don't want to hurt ourselves holding the glass. We don't want to break the glass. We don't want to crinkle up any of the plastic or the aluminum. So firmly but gently is how I would describe it. Then you're going to move it slowly towards your mouth. You drink out of your mouth. And notice the glass gives you a good visual here. If you move it quickly, you see that? It's going all over the place. You might spill. So you're going to move it slowly towards your mouth. Then you're going to have to open your mouth. Then you're going to place the edge of the opening on your bottom lip. You're going to tilt it. And then you're going to gulp and swallow. All in one motion. This is how it looks. Really quite easy. Same idea here. Up to the mouth, opening the mouth, down the hatch. Same idea here. All right, gently. Same idea, well, slightly different here. And then with this, again, opening. Down the hatch. Worry about that later. And right here. And that's really all there is to it. It's very simple. One final note. You always want to make note of the liquid or the type of beverage that you are drinking. There are certain beverages, if you drink too much of them, you'll get sick. And there are also beverages that if you drink too much of them, you'll be labeled an alcoholic. So just something to keep in mind, be aware of. But right now, I think you've got all the tools you need to be a really successful drinker.